Hi, this is Cheryl Gallant, your federal member of parliament for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke. And this is the food producing riding of Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke. I just want to start by wishing you a happy new year and thank you for tuning in regularly. Last year, when Putin invaded Ukraine, the Liberals placed high tariffs on Russian goods and services. The goal of the tariffs is to discourage trade with Russia, which supports Putin's war crimes. But the Liberals made the tariffs on fertilizer farmers use retroactive. This made no sense. Russian fertilizer producers had already gotten their money. Retroactive tariffs do nothing to hurt Putin. They only hurt farmers. The Minister of Agriculture knows this. She even admitted as much when she testified before the Agricultural Committee. But she won't give the farmers back the money. Instead, she is claiming it's being rebated through another federal farm program. So what's so hard about reimbursing individual farmers? What, like the Liberals need to have the money slide through extra sets of fingers instead of just refunding the receipts presented? The Liberals do it all the time in refunding public servant expenses. If the Liberals can't refund farmers for a tax or tariff they imposed for farmers who were already under the gun with skyrocketing fuel prices, how are they going to reimburse gun owners for the grand larceny they are preparing to commit? The Liberals claim to be buying back firearms from the people who have paid for, taken, and been tested on firearms education, as well as passed background checks. In fact, every 24 hours, the names of lawful firearms owners are run through a police check. If the Liberals are not going to refund farmers directly, but rather make it easier to qualify for some risk management program, how are they going to reimburse gun owners? Funnel it to some advocacy group and maybe select Canadians will be able to keep their sports equipment? What's so hard about having farmers send in their copies of receipts showing the offending tax tariff paid, then cutting a check to them for the amount? The money's theirs. The Liberals shouldn't have seized it in the first place. Farmers are doing what they can to keep grocery prices down, but the Liberals keep forcing them up. Carbon taxes, nitrogen taxes. The next thing you know, they'll want to meter the water farmers use. If you want to help get food prices under control, sign and send the letter below. Tell the Agriculture Minister to stand up to Trudeau and give them back what was taken. Farmers feed families. We need to keep them whole. The Liberals have had a hard time coming up with the evidence the demonstration led by the truckers driven out of their jobs was a national emergency, because it wasn't. According to the wording of the Emergencies Act, its use can be invoked when there is a threat to the security of Canada as defined by the Canadian Security Intelligence Service Act. Threats are defined as espionage or sabotage, foreign influence activities detrimental to Canada's interest, serious violence against persons or property for the purpose of achieving a political, religious, or ideological objective in Canada or a foreign state, and activities intended to overthrow a government by violence. None of those criteria were met. The minister who's driving the change in the definition of the threat to Canada is the same one who lied about thousands of truckers who had not already had their vehicles seized, bank accounts frozen, and forced into bankruptcy were on the way to Ottawa. He also lied about there being no hunting guns on his lawfully owned firearms hit list. He lied about the police asking for the Emergencies Act. And despite his predecessor retaining a foreign university on Canadian tax dollars to manufacture a study on domestic terrorism, despite having the We Charity endorse the conclusions of the study, despite dispatching hundreds of instructors across the country to equate conservative voters with terrorists under the guise of diversity, inclusiveness, and equity and training and getting caught, this minister wants to change the definition of national threat to mean anyone who does not adhere to the Liberals' narrative. He's also confiscating firearms from lawful citizens instead of doing the obvious, combating crime and keeping killers locked up. We need an election. But will social media be rigged to inundate voters with fake news? Do you think the Liberals can be trusted to define what a national threat is? Let me know in the comments below. Live from Ottawa, this is Cheryl Gallant, wishing you a good night.